Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about the third of four types of tissues, the nervous tissue. So we already talked about connective tissue, muscle tissue, and now we're on to nervous. And the title here says it all. Nervous tissue communicates. And, in order to be for us to be a multicellular organism, our top of our body needs to communicate with the bottom of our body. And the one of the ways that that's done is, and one of the major ways, is through the nervous system. And that has a foundation in the important cells of the nervous system, the neurons and the neuroglia. So here it says nervous tissue is a central component of the nervous system and has two types of cells, neurons and neuroglia. The neurons are very specialized, and they actually are they're the cells that actually conduct impulses and carry information almost instantaneously from one part of the body to another. And if we look at neurons, and we'll do this a little bit more when we talk about this in the nervous system section of the course, but what you can see in this picture of the neuron in your book is this part of the neuron is called the cell body, and it looks kind of like a typical cell, but it's got these branches coming off of it called dendrites. And then it has one big long branch coming off of it called an axon. And then it ends in these terminals here. So there's a neuron. It has a cell body with dendrites and an axon. And the nucleus of the cell is in the cell body. And what's happening with the dendrites is they're receiving information. They're receiving electrical impulses, and they're coming into the neuron cell body. And then that's translated down the axon. And this electrical communication system allows messages to go, or impulses to go down that axon and have some effect on another neuron or another structure in the body, like a muscle or a gland. So one of the things that we notice about neurons is there's a one-directional electrical impulse going from the dendrites to the cell body down the axon. Neurons are actually some of our longest cells in the entire body because some of these axons can be really long. They can go from your lower back all the way to the bottom of your foot. And that would be one cell is that long. Here's an electron micrograph picture of a few neurons together and how their branches kind of connect to each other. Neuroglia are also very important. When we think of the nervous system, probably most of us are thinking about neurons and conducting impulses. But it turns out there's other cells there too, particularly the neuroglia. And these cells do not make nervous impulses, but they support the neurons in many different ways. And so really our nervous systems wouldn't function normally without neuroglia. In fact, the little blurb here talks about MS, or multiple sclerosis, where certain neuroglia aren't functioning well. And when you look at the diagram of the neuron in your book, these cells right here that are making up the myelin sheath that's covering that axon are actually neuroglia, and they help speed up that nervous impulse. So that's all we're going to talk about nervous tissue right now, but that'll be a good foundation for a little bit later in the semester.